financial news and talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I do deliver it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get to our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Lisa Dunn is in the house. So now, let me get it right this time. Laurel Real Estate Resources. I don't know what all these resources are, but we'll talk about that.
We have many resources.
Multi-talented individuals. I guess that's the...
Yes,
that's it, huh?
That works.
Okay, let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. It is a good day. We are on the right side of the sidewalk. And before I even say a word this morning, I know nothing about the Clintons. I have no knowledge of the Clintons at all. But we'll talk about that later on in the broadcast.
This will get fun. Okay.
Got to have a little bit of fun on Ron Siegel Radio. Hey, let's celebrate. Wow, today, I wonder if Jay Kaplan is watching us today, because he's the only one I know of old enough. Now, Lisa, you and I will remember this, but I don't know if we have.
How old do you think I am?
Vinyl records. Do you remember vinyl records?
Oh, I do remember vinyl records.
I don't have any.
When I was very, very small.
In vitro.
Yes.
Vinyl records. Jay has a collection of vinyl records, so we might have to see if he's out there celebrating today.
So it's today's vinyl record day.
Today is National Vinyl Record Day.
Ooh.
Now this one does not fit me either. National Middle Child Day.
No.
No.
Nowhere on the spectrum for me.
Okay.
I'm either the youngest or the oldest.
Either the youngest or the oldest.
That's a story for another day.
Story for another day. Okay. Ooh, I don't know about this
also,
one.
the tallest or the shortest, you know?
The tallest or the shortest, some of each. Now, I guess we could start off very early for Lisa. Okay, I think we've got it. Okay, so I think we'll have to just stick with National Julienne Fries Day.
Oh, now I'm all over the fries.
Julienne Fries. You know, what is it? I guess now that the In-N-Out, we're going to have to support In-N-Out more than we did before, because I guess there's a lot of people that are upset now. Of course, there's a whole group of people that are always upset, but they're upset because In-N-Out supposedly made a donation to the Republican National Committee. My guess is they probably made a donation to the Democrat National Committee as well, if they're a smart company, which I think they are, but they go both ways. Just throwing that out there.
They go animal style.
Right. Fries animal style, right? That's the way to do it.
Oh, my.
I'm not going to even go anywhere with anything I say can and will be held against me the rest of my life.
Is this an indicator of where the show's going today?
Most likely.
Oh, boy.
Let's take a look at the markets today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 264 points. Ow! S&P 500 down 24 points. That one might not be too exciting. The NASDAQ down 52 points. Oh. Oil up 13 cents a barrel. Let's see what that has effect on us. National average gallon of gasoline 264.8. Calizuela, we are $1 a gallon above that, 362.7. We are now just a little bit below the oil producing state of Hawaii, so we're in good shape there. Louisiana, 227.1. And I will share, having done a little bit of market research, $3.35 is the price for premium unleaded gas. I guess you don't have to say unleaded anymore. I'm dating myself there too. Premium gasoline at Costco in Yorba Linda yesterday, $3.35 a gallon. So good stuff there. Let's look what is most important to those of us who deal in the bond market. We watch the bonds all the time just because that's what has a significant effect. Now, it's not a one-to-one effect, but it is a significant effect on the mortgage-backed securities. And yes, I was just sharing before we went on air with Lisa. I have people all the time ask me, well, what is an interest rates today? And it's always a fun answer because you can have a lot of fun with somebody. 2.75 sounds like a good number. So, and you know, that's an interest rate. 3.75 is an interest rate. 4.75 is an interest rate. Every one of those are available to you today, so it just depends on your situation.
Pick a rate.
Pick a rate. Right, exactly. Now, if you want to buy or get the rates on a U.S. 10-year Treasury right now, down at 1.667 as we speak. 1.667.
One digit away from the devil's interest rate.
There you go. Now, in Germany, some people may not like the interest rate in Germany, though, Lisa.
Oh, what is that?
Negative 0.59. So give them your money for 10 years, you don't get it all back.
It's a wonderful thing,
Isn't that exciting, right? Let's take a look in Japan. You don't get your money back there either. Negative 0.219. In the UK, you actually get a whopping just under 0.5% per year on their 10-year Treasury. And you wonder why interest rates are so low. And I actually am wondering, why are interest rates so high? Right? Because last week, we did see that the Freddie Mac rate, now it's always fascinating to me because I get another question on a regular basis. Freddie Mac came out last Thursday, they do this every Thursday, and said their 30-year interest rate is 3.60. Now, Freddie Mac, you can get a lot of loans through Freddie Mac, right? I mean, a lender that's actually going to be selling them to Freddie Mac, right? So they say the average rate is 3.6. Now, you have to pay 0.6% to get that rate. The Mortgage Bankers Association, they give out no loans, and they came out at, I think, 4.01. Now, if I were you, I'd go to Freddie Mac because their numbers are a little better than the Mortgage Bankers Association if you qualified for one of those loans. And again, I suggest to you that most people don't qualify for one of like a Freddie Mac loan. And most people don't understand, well, Ron, why do you say that it's 3.60, paying 0.6, yet most people won't qualify for it? Here's the answer to the question, and we can ask our real estate guru in the house when we get to this part of it. So here's what you need to do to qualify for that 3.6 interest rate. Pretty simple to start with. It's a purchase money loan, so we can all buy a house. That works, right? That's easy. You need to buy a single family residence. No condos on this one, please. You need to stay in the conforming loan limits, and you need to put 40% down. Now, anybody can do that, but Lisa, do you have too many people that are buying conforming loan homes with 40% down payment?
Well, number one, you had me lost at conforming home loans because that's a rarity anymore. And
right.
Anybody who has 40% down is not buying something within the conforming loan range.
Exactly, right? That's the whole issue right there. So, yes, it's available. Yes, that is. Now, why do they do that?
Yeah, Freddie Mac, why do you do that?
Well, it's very simple. You need, and this kind of goes to many things when you're dealing in the world of economics. They like consistency. Now, how do you figure out what the average person is doing if the average person is changing from year to year, from day to day, from time to time? So the issue is they could come up with this whole thing and say, okay, this is what we call baseline. On top of baseline, there's about 30 loan level price adjustments that go there. Because I did forget to tell you that you also have to have a 750 FICO score or better for that particular product.
Of course, that's why you're buying that home
right.
with the 417 in Orange County.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole issue right there. So it's just a baseline. It kind of goes to the same issue. Years ago, the late Essia Debe, I asked him, why do you use the U3 number for unemployment, or why do we use a mean home pricing? And he said, because that's what we've done for years and years. That's not good numbers, it's not good data, but it is consistent data. So that's why we use those particular pieces of information. Just throwing that out there for you.
Manipulate the data to do whatever you want the data to do.
That is going to be the topic of our show today, is manipulating data.
Manipulating data.
I love the idea of manipulating data.
I'm so happy to know that's our topic today, since I had no idea.
It's always... I'm not going to say you're clueless, Lisa. I was not going to go there at all.
Hey, well, you can go check out that post I did on Instagram before I walked in, so that's okay.
We're going to have to do that during the break. I will share that with you. Let's see what's going on in the news today. I like this one. What's his name? Jeffrey Epstein. Cause of death not released. That's going to be a fascinating story. My guess is we'll never know the truth about this one. How do you have a jail like that? You know, you can't go, well, I guess you could go to the bathroom without a video camera sometimes, but most areas anymore, no matter what you're doing, you're videoed. Or you better think you're videoed at least.
They're saying the cell wasn't.
Right.
But anybody coming in or out of that area would be. But then there was some sort of rumor I heard yesterday that conveniently the cameras may not have been working.
Oh, isn't that a surprise? I think, you know, that Gomer usually comes in about this time.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise right there.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Yeah, this should be fun to watch and see what happens. I mean, it's all over the news. Unbelievable there, watching how this could happen. That's why I said that, you know, I know nothing about the Clintons.
Or Trump. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Epstein had a lot of friends.
He had a lot of friends in very, very low places.
That's right. They all had something in common, didn't they?
37 flights on his, I don't know. It's a bit crazy, but eventually maybe not. Maybe no one will never know what really happened there. My guess is, though, that something's a bit odd here. I mean, you're on death watch or on suicide watch, but you're not being watched. You've got the materials in the room that you can hang yourself, but you've got choke marks on your neck that don't coincide with hanging. But it'll be fascinating. We will continue to watch this. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, Lisa and I are going to discuss clueless people. Why is it that Not us. We're not the clueless people. We're going to discuss clueless people. We see that all the time. Lisa and I have chatted about this off air, about people that think you can use a DU, an automated underwriting service approval, and not have any contingencies, not have any questions that your loan will go through. We're going to chat about that. American confidence in housing at an all-time high. Should you pay off debt or invest? And what are Treasury yields and why do they matter? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Oh, we had a break. I see Jay Kaplan jumped on the line here today. Hey, Jay, it's Vinyl Record Day today, National Vinyl Record Day today. It's just for you. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit reports, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO certified credit professional. and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs. They've got the products for you. Only one I know of with that fast pass loan approval. Dow Jones Industrial Average, as I am chatting with you, down 224 points. The NASDAQ down 42.99. S&P 500 down 24.86. A little bit worrisome there. Easy for me to say.
Spit it out, Ron.
Yeah, exactly. Holy cow. It's funny talk. U.S. 10-year Treasury, well, this is for Lisa. I mean, she asked for this before, and we finally got it. Mm-hmm. The 10-year Treasury is at 1.666.
The devil's number.
Yeah, there we go. So it is at 1.666. Interesting. We'll see about...
It is what it is.
Yes, indeed. The mortgage-backed securities, those are up 11 basis points right now, so that's helpful for mortgage rates. Remember, whenever the bond goes up, the yield or interest rate goes down. Why is it happening? Well, Hong Kong canceled all their flights scheduled for today, citing serious disruptions due to intensifying protests. Also, still significant fears that the trade war between the U.S. and China will tip the world and U.S. economies into recession. The Chinese yuan has gotten weaker. Now it takes 7.06 yuan to purchase $1. The uncertainty is causing a flight to quality with mostly treasuries are benefiting. That would not be seniors. It would be treasuries benefiting. Been seeing a bit of a disconnect between the mortgage bonds and the 10-year treasuries. Used to be that we could very safely say about 1.5 point difference. So if you would take that 1.666 and add 1.50, you would be able to get the 30-year rate. It's not there anymore. That's the disconnect right in there. So we're watching that closely, but part of that has to do with that flight to safety. Certain funds cannot invest into mortgage-backed securities. They don't have the right timing in there. Quiet week on the news front, though. We're going to get the Consumer Price Index tomorrow. That's a measure of inflation, but the Federal Reserve likes PCE better now, so it's kind of a the Rodney Dangerfield of some of these different numbers. Wednesday, we get mortgage applications. Thursday, initial jobless claims, Philly Fed, retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing Survey, National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index. Friday, we get the housing starts. So a little later in the week, we might see a little bit of information coming out that's meaningful. Right now, we're just sitting on data and watching what's going on. And as Lisa and I were talking about off air, we are watching the Twitter feed because here's the real issue, and anybody that's thinking that they understand markets right now, it's a fascinating story. Goldman Sachs, doesn't matter who it is, because unless you can predict a Twitter feed, and so far we've yet to see anybody
I got a bad feeling about this.
that can predict the president's Twitter feed.
Logan Motoshami might try.
He might try, but he has no clue. He's clueless like the rest of us. Right? So the bottom line is now I can tell you how you invest in the stock market for this. Right? So you spread out, you go into options, you spread out your risk on both sides. And because the one thing that you can count on within the markets, I guarantee this one, that tomorrow will follow today and the day after will follow that. Right? So if you're investing based on time as opposed to pricing, you'll be in good shape. But right now, be real careful of the markets. Just a thought, if you've got a loan that you're happy with, lock it in. You should have an investor that will actually be able to rate that or to float that down for you if you get some better rates. I've shared with you many times, rates are going down. They will be going down to somewhere in the range of 1.28 to 1.32 on the 10-year Treasury.
What's your time frame?
Within the next 18 to 24 months. That's where we'll be. So that's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. Chatting this morning, Lisa Dunn is in the house, and I do have Lisa's theme song online here.
Bad feeling about this.
Is that my theme song?
That's the one we've got for you, Lisa.
Either that or it's the bong noise. Not that I do such things.
Okay, so
I just didn't know what it was.
We might have this one for you then.
The truth! You can't handle the truth!
So that's another
I'm
good...
going to disappoint you, Ron.
Oh, so you're not going to give me the truth?
No, I am going to give you the truth. I didn't know that was a bong noise when you played it. You knew it was a bong noise.
That's because my board says bong noise. Pretty simple stuff.
That's what he says.
That's what I tell everyone. I'm going to stick to that story. So here it is, the theme song of the day. What is DU approval? Why you should ignore it? Interesting, right? So, Lisa, last broadcast when you were here, somehow, I don't know how this happens, whenever you and I get together, somehow we end up going down these rabbit trails and items that we plan on discussing get ignored.
Yeah, we're really good at that. We are really good at that.
And we talked about the idea last time that there is a local lender who actually comes out and we get a lot of emails and they say, well, if you've got a DU approval, you can go ahead and just write a loan or a mortgage or a real estate offer with no loan contingency because the DU approval is just as good as anything else.
Oh yeah, that's what they say until they start looking at the person's financials.
Right. So my feeling is that a great loan officer understands what the guidelines are and can put the data in there and get an approved eligible.
Yeah,
Pretty simple.
I think that on the lending side, everybody should on that side know exactly what a DU approval covers.
Right.
The problem is everybody else doesn't know.
Right.
We get these remarks in the multiple listing, the private remarks that the public can't see, from the listing agent saying offer must be submitted with verification of funds and DU approval. Well, what does that DU approval mean?
Right. And that's the whole issue right there. So you can get a real good loan officer, understands guidelines, puts in what DU wants and gets an approved eligible. A real bad loan officer makes big mistakes and puts in the things that they think that they need and gets a DU approved eligible.
Or
and doesn't get you anywhere.
The borrower has things going on that they won't find out about until the DU approval has been given, and then they go into the package and say, oh, wait a minute, what's that?
I've got those other 3 houses that they're free and clear, so I didn't mention them to you.
Or I have this huge tax lien that doesn't show up on my credit report, and you will not find out about it until later.
And the bottom line is in lending these days, you actually find out about everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, between LexisNexis and the CoreLogic Fraud Guard, there's no secrets.
Exactly. But it's amazing because people think, some people, not all people, some people think, you know what, they didn't say anything about that credit or that tax lien, excuse me. So, you know, if I just keep my mouth shut, maybe they're not going to find out about it because it doesn't show up on your credit report. And what are they looking at on a DU approval?
Right, credit report.
Where are they getting the information? So any sort of tax liens don't show up. Now, how they find out about them down the road, maybe you can shed some light on that.
They show up because of it's always good. Everything is there. Everything's online anymore.
The monthly payment to the IRS that's showing up on the bank statements, perhaps.
And I'm sure LexisNexis finds it, which it may not have been covered in there. You can also see the data that's going to come up again. CoreLogic, they've got this. They've got the title. I hate the title of the report. I don't even tell people the title of the report.
Oh, tell us, Ron. What is it?
It's called Fraud Guard.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
I just think, you know something, basically it's a very in-depth background check. So if you've got other properties, sometimes it's even properties that you've sold show up on the report and you have to explain, why is that on my report?
Well, but it's good though, because people don't know what's on their credit reports. You know, you can even sit here and say, yeah, I run one once a year, but even then you don't really know what's out there in the deep dark world, you know, about you, and it's amazing what the lenders have to go through to ensure that the borrower is actually, you know, representing what the borrower's true, you know, situation is. And people just don't think, well, they're not going to find out about that, or they're not going to see this.
Or they are. Or even on the other side of it, Lisa, a lot of times people think, well, it's not material. I own that property. I have no loan on it, so there's no need to put it on the report.
Exactly.
Right, but we have to count the property taxes and the insurance and the homeowners association data into into your debt to income ratios.
Yeah, and if it's just sitting there, is somebody in there? Is somebody not in there? I mean, if you know, are you holding it vacant? I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. And one thing that probably the craziest thing I saw in my career was a client of mine who was selling a home, getting into downsizing into a condo, and the condo wasn't FHA or VA approved, so we were having to go conventional, which shouldn't have been a problem because he had DU approval. And it turned out that on his home that he was selling, he had done a loan modification a couple of years before, and they reduced the principal. They had a principal reduction that they wrote off, and you know, we got the DU approval until there was the deep dive went in, and that principal reduction showed up as a short sale.
Ooh.
And which I was like, oh, what do you mean this is a short sale? I'd never heard of such a thing, and I don't know if too many people out there really know that any sort of debt forgiveness on a mortgage can be construed as a short sale, and then that hit them on the number of years, you know, that it happened. And then we couldn't go FHA, we couldn't go VA, even though he was a vet, because the condo wasn't approved. So we were able to manipulate it into
DU approval didn't necessarily mean approved.
Nope, didn't. Nope.
Interesting. We're going to continue our conversation with Lisa Dunn when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. American confidence in housing at an all-time high. Should I pay off debt or invest? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay will be available, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
In the middle of a street, a house.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. 2 different services for you. You can text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Get your dream home before someone else does. Or if you're already living in your dream home, here's a digest for you. It has all the information about your home. It's called the Home Digest. Right? I'm a really fancy guy. We go really in depth. I can almost remember that. Right? So if you go to www.SLT, the Home Digest, no spaces, SLTHomeDigest.com, you can get the information that the county recorder has on your property. You can get an estimated real estate value and equity on your property. If you're so inclined, it'll tell you what the Airbnb rental rate might be on your property. And if there's any opportunities for lowering your mortgage payments, you might be able to find that on there as well. It's all free. Again, just text or just go to SLTHomeDigest.com. I should probably set up a text code for that. It'll probably be easier.
Probably would be.
Yeah, because I might even remember it then, right? American confidence in housing at an all-time high. Fannie Mae just released the July edition, they're a little behind, of their Home Purchase Sentiment Index, HPSI for short. The HPSI takes information regarding consumers' confidence in the real estate market from Fannie Mae's National Housing Survey and condenses it into a single number. Therefore, the HPSI reflects consumers' current views and forward-looking expectations of the housing market conditions. Great news! The index reached its highest level since Fannie Mae began their survey. Breaking it down, the report revealed the share of Americans who say it's a good time to buy a home increased from this time last year. The share of those who say it's a good time to sell a home increased from the same time last year. The share of Americans who say they are not concerned about losing their job over the next 12 months increased dramatically, 16 percentage points from the same time last year. The share of Americans who say mortgage rates will go down over the next 12 months, listen to Ron Siegel Radio, increased dramatically. That's 24 points from the same time last year. The day after the index was released, Freddie Mac also announced the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to its lowest level in 3 years. Doug Duncan, Senior Vice President and Chief Economist at Fannie Mae, explained the uptick in the index. And I quote, "Consumer job confidence and favorable mortgage rate expectations lifted the HPSI to a new survey high in July, despite ongoing housing supply and affordability challenges. Consumers appear to have shaken off a winter slump in sentiment among strong income gains. Therefore, sentiment is positioned to take advantage of any supply that comes to the market, particularly in the affordability category," unquote. Bottom line, consumers are feeling good about the real estate market since Americans are not worried about their jobs, see mortgage rates near an all-time low, and believe it's a good time to buy. The housing market will remain strong for the rest of the year. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Get that home digest that's created just for your house. www.slthomedigest.com. Now, the interesting part about stories like this or reports like this is they are national numbers. They also are reporting information. This is the July edition. We're in the middle of August. So what really is important, though, to you is the local sentiment. Now, I'm going to check with our in-studio guru on real estate. Lisa Dunn is with us. Laurel Real Estate Resources. See, I say that slowly so I can enunciate properly.
Well. You did that well, Ron.
Are you finding these things to be the same on the street?
No.
Okay, moving right along. You know something? I'm glad you put it that way, because one of the things that is fascinating to me is the news always skews everything, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. They're always skewing everything, and you can't believe 99% of what they say, right? But you look and when we see days where the stock market has these swings like it's had, people become nervous.
Yeah, I think that maybe in a poll that they took a few months ago, somebody's going to say, yeah, I feel great about my job, everything's hunky-dory. Well, that changes depending on who you are, what your situation is. If all of that was true, we wouldn't be seeing increased inventory levels here in Orange County and in the bulk of Southern California. There's a saying that as goes California, so does the country. And one thing that's interesting, the numbers that they're saying that were better year over year, we were actually super soft last year at this time. The market kind of came to a grinding halt.
And part of that has to do with the fact that when we look at the Freddie Mac interest rates, interest was 4.6 last year at this time.
So, we're looking at, almost a full % less than what we're paying. Well, of course, you're going to think the interest rates are going down, because from a year ago, they were going up. So, when you're looking at apples to apples, anything sounds good when last year's news was dismal. And I was in a conversation over the weekend with somebody who said you should be looking at 2017 numbers, comparing that, because that's going to be a more accurate reflection of the change of the market. Because you compare July 2019 to July 2018, things were pretty darn slow in July of 2018. Maybe in other parts of the country that it was fine. California started their slowdown last year. Slowdown does not mean crash, does not mean bubble bursting, does not mean anything other than, my particular area experienced about a $50,000 price correction between homes that closed in May versus homes that closed in July, because the market was so overheated. It was ridiculous the first 5 months of 2018, and the whole year of 2017 was hot like that. Things just stopped, and I mean they stopped in Orange County pretty much. South Orange County, I know for a fact because I experienced it, but everybody's sharing the same stories at that time last year that, hey, what just happened? The faucet got turned off.
Right.
So when you're working with soft numbers from last year, any little improvement is going to, sound like, oh my gosh, we're doing great. Look at the market's picking up. No, the numbers were soft. You have to keep that in mind.
Well, one of the things I want to share And it's going to be we'll be sharing some of these numbers out on our social media channels later this week and the next couple of weeks. But you had mentioned the idea of slowing economy doesn't necessarily mean real estate.
Exactly.
And here's just some stats, because I'm a numbers nerd, right? So in 2008, yes, we did have a recession, the Great Recession at that time. Real estate dropped 19.7%. That's a number from CoreLogic. That's their National Home Price Index. Your neighborhood may be more or less, but 19.7 is the national number. But in 2001, we had a recession as well. How much do you think real estate dropped in 2001? Now, I'm going to tell you right now that it is a trick question, because real estate was up 6.6% in the same National Home Price Index survey. Up 6.6%. 1991, we had a recession. How much do you think real estate dropped at that time? Well, yeah, it was down a little bit, 1.9%, not a significant number. The recession before that was 1981. How much do you think real estate dropped then? Yeah, another trick question. It was up 3.5%. And how about the 1980 recession? Real estate was up then 6.1%. So 3 out of the last 5 recessions, real estate has been up. And one of them was only down 1.9, so that doesn't count as anything.
But one thing that's interesting when you say that, though, when the recession hits, in the charts you're looking at, this is our recessionary period. Actually, the real estate comes after. That's when you see the hits happen, because a lot of people will say, okay, we had the recession in 2008. Well, 2010 was pretty much ground zero in the real estate world.
Right.
All the way up into the beginning of 2012, and it was almost like magic happened in 2012, because the prices were just in the gutter, but the consumer confidence came back. So people that were able to buy during 2012, I mean, you talk about a sweet spot. That was a sweet spot to be buying a house. In 2013, everything got overheated again. The prices went through the roof. I've been hanging around you too much. I can't talk today. But it's interesting.
There might be some people that will appreciate that. Both of us can't speak.
What? Either that, or we're going to just sound like Elmer Fudd here.
I want to talk about that, because that's a good point that Lisa is making. And I want to give you some stats again, just a little bit of information on what happened in 2011 or 2012. That is very, very interesting within real estate, and people are complaining about it right now, but we're going to talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to get into, can you really afford a house? Is that the issue why people stop buying? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about paying off debt or investing. What should you do? That is the question. You can reach me anytime at the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investment? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report? It's wrong. They all are. Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. Jeff Sipes and his group over there at Blue Water Credit help a lot of listeners in getting their credit reports corrected. When they're correct, it's amazing when the credit reports are corrected how much higher the scores go. Now, the bureaus don't necessarily like that. That's my opinion because they can make more money on lower scores. Just throwing that out there. Should you pay off debt or invest? That is the question. Deciding whether to pay off debt or invest can be tough. Two competing financial goals, and you may wonder which one takes precedence. Eliminating your debt as quickly as possible has its advantages, yet there's a strong case for getting an early start with investing. Considering the benefits and potential drawbacks of each, you can decide which is best for you. Paying off debt, the pros, credit card loans, student loans, car loans, any other type of debt can take a toll financially and mentally. Obviously, I have lost my marbles. It can be frustrating to have to commit a percentage of your monthly income to repaying debt. It also could leave you with less money to cover your basic living expenses. There are several reasons to consider paying off debt before you start investing. The sooner you eliminate debt, the less interest you'll have to pay on the debt with no debt payments. You can have more money in your budget to save, invest, and waste. Reducing debt can improve your credit score, which is important if you want to buy a home or finance a vehicle. A lot of different pros and cons to this. Some of it, there's also you have to look at good debt versus bad debt. Not the bad debt like you don't get paid back, but bad debt like debt that doesn't come back to you. Jay Kaplan and I spoke about this last week. The idea of taking on debt if you can get a greater return on investment than the cost of the debt. What do you think most businesses do? Right? They borrow money, they have lines of credit, they have bonds that they issue. The cost of the money is less than what they can earn on the money. Just throwing that out there for you. That's the concept. We'll get more into this later in the week. Your Credit Matters, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Our friend Jeff Sipes and the team there at Blue Water Credit, they will help you out. Continuing our conversation this morning, Lisa Dunn, Laurel Real Estate Resources in the house. We were talking before the break about how real estate goes, or the being a great time to buy or sell a house right now. And the concept of, even if you concur with what I've been sharing, I've been saying that we are going to see an economic downturn in the next 18 to 24 months. I don't think that it's going to be a real estate-induced bubble. I think it'll probably be either debt or student loan crisis of some sort. That's where a lot of the big problems are right now. But housing affordability, and I want to chat with Lisa about this. I'll give you the numbers on a national level, then I'm not going to ask Lisa for numbers on this, but sentiment is...
God.
Right, you can deal with sentiment.
Yeah.
You can tell us what people are feeling because you're out there talking to people on a regular basis. Housing affordability. Now, how do you determine affordability? And it's basically comparing the percentage of your income that's used. They put a bunch of stuff to make the formulas look funny. But it's the percentage of your income that's used, and you look at the median home price versus median income on a national level, and they do these same stats for local areas. But for the most part, right now, the number that we have is 150. And the number doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot to anybody. But the number is 150. Now, if you go any time from 1990 through 2008, the highest we ever got, the most affordable we ever got, the higher the number, the better, the more affordable property is. From 1990 all the way through 2008, the highest number we ever got was 1 year, 2008, at 138. Other than that, it was 130 and below. Now, during the recession years, 2009 through 2015, which really demonstrates exactly what Lisa was saying before the break, that the housing issues got really challenging during the years after the recession. Right, we got up to 169, 197 in 2012. That was when housing was most affordable. But that's also when we had a combination of low interest rates and a significant number of distressed properties for sale.
And a lot better consumer confidence, because by that point people had realized, oh my gosh, okay, I do have a job, I've had my job for a little while, I can breathe, now maybe I can go out and purchase a home.
Which is a great point, Lisa, because if there was a comment just over the weekend, it might have been on Friday, from the former Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. And his comment was the recession would not have gotten nearly as bad as it did if it wasn't for the media. He said the media hyped it so much that it really was one of those snowball effects that they kept talking about, oh, the world's coming to an end, the government has no money, we're going broke, the financial system's going to collapse. And he said, yes, things were bad, but they weren't nearly, they were exacerbated by the commentary of the media at the time.
Well, I had a conversation with somebody last week.
You and Ben were talking?
No, it wasn't with Ben.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't with Ben, but it was an interesting group I was with. A lot of very smart people. And,
obviously, I was not there.
Yeah, you weren't. And we were just talking about how the recession was, how it was the Wild West. Because it's something nobody had been through.
Right.
Which, of course, that would make stellar news, because how do you know how bad is or how bad will be when you've never been faced with this situation before, which is you have different financial institutions collapsing, and then everybody's scared to death, and then they've lost their job or their income has been cut so much that now they can't afford their house. So now it's like, should I do this magical short sale that these people are talking about? You had your strategic defaults, people that really didn't have to default but were playing a game with their homes, which really is horrible, because you don't buy a home, you shouldn't buy a home, a primary residence, as an investment vehicle. That's just kind of a nice, tidy little side benefit.
I'm going to disagree with you there, Lisa.
Yeah, but those are the people that screwed the people that were in bad shape, that needed the banks to help them out. Like I had a gentleman who had cancer. He was trying to clear off his student loan debt, which we all know cannot be cleared off, trying to save the house so their 5-year-old daughter had somewhere to grow up. This was while dual tracking was still legal. We're working a short sale, we have somebody ready to buy, and then boom, the lender, who I will not say their name, but I think their initials are WF, decided to say, oh, guess what, we're foreclosing on you, Mr. Cancer victim. So, why did stuff like that happen when you had the strategic default saying, you know what, my house isn't worth what I paid for it, so I'm not going to pay for it anymore. Well, guess what, your car isn't worth what you paid for it. You're going to quit paying for your car?
Well, there's two schools of thought there, because your house is an investment. I mean, even though it is a place where we want to live, but the banks are all getting bailed out and the consumer wasn't.
Yeah.
So the consumer is saying, you know something, if the bank's not going to help out, and obviously I lead a lending team, and I'm sure a lot of people will get upset that I say this, but it's an investment, and you just have to cut your losses, and you treat it as a business transaction.
And if you held, where would you be today?
Depends on what they might have done with that money that or what they did in the interim. So you don't know the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know that answer.
But it was really the Wild West.
It was, absolutely.
So you didn't know really, you would hear the stuff on the news and you wouldn't know what to make of it. And yeah, I'm sure that there is some truth to what, Bernanke said. But, it's one of those things when you're dealing with people, people's lives, individuals, not that big number picture that, our macroeconomists get sucked into. There's a whole lot of people right now that aren't feeling good about their jobs.
Sure.
But there's a whole lot of people out there that are feeling good about their jobs. And affordable is what's affordable to you.
But I think that part of the issue right now, and I think part of what Bernanke was saying is, even today, there's a lot of fear-mongering. It sells well.
Well, nobody wants the truth. Like,
right.
Hey, what? Remember last time I was on, we talked about that problem solver caucus?
Right.
Hear anything coming out of them?
No, not at all.
No, they're working. They're doing things, but guess what? They're not sexy. They're not exciting. It's not negative.
And that goes back to the same thing. The media only wants that which is crazy, and it sells.
Well, this Jeff Epstein stuff's going down. Right. You're going to hear about it until everybody doesn't want to hear about it.
Until the next thing comes out, and it comes on there's another tweet from the president or tweet from AOC or
look, there's Haley's comments.
Yeah, Joe Biden comes up with another gaffe. All of those different things that come on, but we'll be here to talk about it, and that's why I ask you to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today, and of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, if you want me to introduce you to Lisa Dunn, give me a call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Let's go!